Okay, I think we can start. So a really warm welcome to the Empowering Equity Mentorship Plus program. This is a program to aim aspiring young mid-stage career professionals to connect and learn from more experienced peers. And before we start with the official launch, I would actually like to first introduce one thing. If you have joined us only for the afternoon session, please do connect to the Wi-Fi if you need it. On the Empowering Equity 2025, the password is EE2025@phil. The reason you will need it because we want to keep this session as interactive as possible. So throughout the session, we are going to ask you to ask questions, but also to interactively participate to WooClip, which is a Slido equivalent. So we are going to have a session with some of the leaders in empowering equity and promoting gender-balanced investing in private capital markets. I will introduce all of these speakers and they do come on the stage. So for the moment, I want to do an icebreaker. In order to participate, please scan the QR code. Please scan the QR code and you would be invited to vote and provide in one word what you hope to gain from participating in Mentorship Plus program. Now, if you haven't thought about it, you know, it may be partner track, confidence, investment thesis sharpening, LP access, whatever springs to your mind, please try to put it in one or a word that can be then shared on the stage. So let's see what do we have as the ice-breaking question. Has everybody scanned the QR code? If I can then ask my colleague to share on the screen the result of the workout. I hope it works. Can we see the result? I hope it works. Suspense, suspense. Can we see what? Does it work? Okay. Okay, so maybe the technical equipment is not ready yet, but you know, let me then switch to traditional alternative. And you know, can I ask a quick show of hand? Who is here in this room aspiring to become partner in the private capital fund? Please raise your hand. Don't be shy. Okay. Who is here to gain more confidence? Okay. And who is here to maybe achieve the LP access? Okay. So very shy audience, but you know, I hope I will be able to encourage you as we go along. I think that this is not working. If I can just go back and have a control of the slides, please. Perfect. So I have so the Empowering Equity Mentorship Plus program, as I already said, it's a program for early stage and mid-stage career female professionals working in private capital markets, spanning venture capital, private credit, private equity, and connecting them with more experienced peers. We want to congratulate all the selected mentees in this process. It has been a truly competitive application. We have received 112 applications, out of which 15 mentees have been selected. So this deserves a huge round of applause. So if I may ask you to give them a warm round of applause. today we'll align why this program, why it matters, what you can expect, and how together we are going to make an impact. And in order to do that, I have here with me on the stage Carmen Vera Garcia, who is a senior advisor at European Investment Bank, Financial Institution Department, as well as Minerva Elias, who is head of unit for innovation and social impact at European Investment Fund. Together we want to give a little bit of a context of Empowering Equity Mentorship Plus program, which continues after phase 1, which showed a clear momentum, but EIB and EAF Group decided to expand it to Mentorship Plus program and make it more structured, more measurable, and more scalable. So I want to turn now to Carmen and Minerva to share with us why now and what is different from the initial pilot program. Carmen.
Thank you, Mirna. Well, I'll take the why now. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today at the launch of the Empowering Equity Mentorship Plus, which for us is a true milestone in the empowering equity journey towards promoting more women leaders in the investment industry. And as Mirna said, allow me just to take a step back, do a very quick rewind to set the scene on what's the institutional context of the Empowering Equity Mentorship Plus. But I promise I will be very brief on this. At the EIB group, we are deeply committed to promoting diversity in the financial sector. And in my opinion, the Empowering Equity is actually one of the boldest examples on how we actually walk the talk. But we could not do this without the immense support of our partners at the European Commission, with whom we have launched the Gender Finance Lab, financed under the InvestEU Advisory Hub. And well, here you can see in the slide, the Gender Finance Lab is an advisory program which includes as well the Empowering Equity Initiative, alongside other actions that we are implementing at group level with our financial sector partners in order to achieve two main objectives that in fact for us are very much interlinked. On the one hand, we want to promote female representation and leadership in the financial sector, and we also want to promote more investments in women-led businesses across Europe. Well, because as it has been actually reiterated today throughout the day, diversity, women leadership in the financial sector, and also leveraging these investments is not just a slogan. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for growth and for competitiveness across the European Union. And in fact, I would say it's actually an opportunity that we cannot afford to miss nowadays in the global context that we're living in. And so through the Gender Finance Lab, we work on this mission through different actions. I will not go into details here, but just to name a couple of examples that may be of your interest. Last year, we published a mapping of women founders in European deep tech startups, also analyzing what are their financing needs. Last week, we published another mapping study on debt financial and non-financial products offered in the European Union, targeting specifically women entrepreneurs, and also what works and what works best. And well, just to give a final example, across the street from the financial sector, so to speak, we also launched earlier this year a community of 40 European commercial banks who are committed to championing investments in women entrepreneurs, but also to share best practices and knowledge on how to better do so. And within this context, of course, the Empowering Equity is at the heart of the Gender Finance Lab. And well, from EIB Advisory, we are very proud to support our EIF colleagues in this flagship initiative that they're leading, because what started as a series of events developed into a community, I would say a very vibrant community, in fact, which has also made possible the launch of this Mentorship Plus program. So, well, just to conclude, I wanted to just insist on just giving a big thank you. First of all, thank you to the mentors. Thank you for being here, for being champions and role models on this mission. To the mentees, welcome. We're looking forward to starting this journey with you. And of course, once again, thank you to our partners, the European Commission, European Women in VC, Level 20, and many others who are working with us towards a more inclusive financial sector, which, as we know, leads to better investment outcomes.
Perfect. And now let's turn to Minerva.
She said it all.
I promised I would be brief. I'm Spanish, sorry.
Another Spanish now. Well, first of all, big round of applause to all of you and congratulations for being selected. You definitely did our job bloody difficult because it was extremely challenging to select one and not the other one. We have to say that about 30 to 50 applicants were also sort of almost made it, and they are still there in the waiting list. So we are debating now whether actually to launch another cohort or just stay with the applicant. So anyway, thanks for being here. Also the mentors and the new 3 male mentors that we have onboarded in this edition. So just briefly for the ones who are coming new into this. The main purpose is really here to foster more female representation in the venture capital, private equity and private credit industries. That's the first and foremost objective. But there is another very important objective, which for me is equally relevant here, which is really about instilling a culture of giving back, right? A culture of helping close the circle, because we sometimes forget about those who helped us in our journey, in our career. And we have a lot of talent around Europe, talented investors who are willing and who are very well positioned in the industry to be helping others, right? So with this program, we really want to make sure that these mentors have an opportunity to giving back to society what society has given them at some point in their careers. And that there is, and that they carry, you know, the involvement and the belonging in this community with a badge of honor, right? So we really want to make sure that there is commitment on both the mentors and the mentees. And this is why the phase 2, so the phase 1 was launched in 2024. The genesis being the feedback what we received from the first edition of the Empowering Equity event, where many of the newcomers, no, the GPs were raising their hands, hey, you know, what can you do, what EIF, EIB can do to help the new people that are coming into the industry? And the answer was, okay, we'll put together a mentorship program. So the first edition was quite unstructured. It was a pseudo mentorship, I would say, whereby GPs would submit questions and then they would be dealt with by the experienced mentors. Some of them had one-to-ones, but it was more sort of on a ad hoc basis. Now we listened to you, and the feedback was we need more, we need to establish the framework, the engagement, the scope of the involvement by the mentors and the mentees. We need A, B, C, D. The mentors also have certain, you know, requirements or expectations from commitments by the mentees. And this is why we launched the fully fledged Mentorship Plus just now. There's going to be a lot of things going on. You have them in screens, so masterclasses all throughout the next 18 months of the mentorship. There's going to be 2 cohorts of 9 months each. Then we will have monthly one-to-one meetings between mentors and mentees, and the matching will be proposed by our teams. And of course, if there are specific requests coming from either part of the parties, very, very happy that we consider that. And last point that I wanted to say is that whilst the program is almost already defined, we haven't fully finished it because we want to leave it open for your feedback today, meaning we really want to hear what are your expectations from this program, what would you like, or what would you consider as a successful impact delivered? You as mentors, what are you ready to give? What is that you can offer, or what is that you're expecting from the selected mentees as well? As a reminder, this is a pro bono program, so everything is out of heart and on a voluntary basis. So for us, it's really important that we make sure that there is motivation, there is commitment, and that we deliver on the basis of these values. Yeah, because in the end of the day, we are here using time of very experienced GPs that are willing to give back, right? So we really expect that this commitment is very present all throughout the mentorship. And that's it. I think that, yeah, thank you very much to the mentees, the mentors that are staying with us, and the new ones. So the new 3 mentors that we have are Ben from Atomico, Dan from Early Bird, and then there is, Rafa knows it. Rafa? Venting from Oxa, yes. Cherry Ventures, yes, thank you.
Yeah, so I think, even the pilot phase could not be possible without the mentors, so some of the mentors have been involved already and some have been recruited, if I can say so, more recently. And I think that the success on the program also lies to the mentors, so they deserve a round of applause as well. Thank you for your engagement. And as Minerva rightly pointed, it's a way of giving back to the community, of raising this new generation of successful fund managers. So with that, I would like to thank both Carmen and Minerva. Thank you for your contribution. I think we want to invite the audience, if the technology works, to go to another WAP question. Let me check whether I can actually do that. I'm trying to do it, but it doesn't work with me. Can we please launch the next question on the screen? Yes, so please answer which benefit matters most to you right now. So we're trying to see a little bit what your feedback is going to be. So amongst the choices, you can choose action-oriented one-to-one mentorship. Then we have fundraising and LP access playbook. Then we have investment process excellence, career acceleration, confidence, and executive presence. And so far, I can see that the answers are pretty equal, with 2 of them clearly reading. So action-oriented one-to-one membership, fundraising, LP access playbook seem to dominate amongst the other choices. Any comments you want to make, Minerva, on that?
Clearly nobody is interested in career acceleration. All right. Okay. Shall we just leave it here?
Yeah, we need to leave it, we really need to leave this room at 5 o'clock sharp.
No, we're just kidding. No, that's...
we do need to leave it.
Well, one of the beauties of this program is that it can really be tailored to the needs of the mentees, and of course the assets, the skills and capabilities and availability of the mentors. So it's really a one-to-one agreement, I would say. So it's make the most of it, definitely.
Okay, perfect. And with that, I would like to, let's thank Carmen and Minerva for their wonderful contribution. And they will be here for the questions as well as for drinks, so we don't have too much time here. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thanks. I don't know if there are any questions.
No tenemos tiempo para. No, sí, sí. Okay. Okay, so sure. So now I want to, can we maybe move back to the presentation, please? I don't have a control. Excellent. So we are going to start the panel, Building Impact Together. And let me then invite on the stage Kinga Stanisławska, who is a co-founder and managing partner of Experience VC, but also known as the founder of European Women in VC, the largest community of female VC partners and LPs in Europe. She also served for 7 years with the European Innovation Council, helping establish the EIC fund. And she is recognized among Europe's top women in venture capital and tech. And also on the stage with us, already joined, is Gurpreet Manku, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Level 20. Since 2023, she leads programs spanning mentoring, networking and development events, research and insights, advocacy, and sponsor support, outreach and internships, all designed to increase the number of women in senior investment roles across private capital. So a warm welcome to both Kinga and Gurpreet. So we'll start with the opening round with one thing that works. So Kinga, if I may ask you, what one design choice in your communities consistently moves the needle and why?
Well, we look at the world top down, and we feel that what needs to change in Europe starts at the very top of asset allocation. So for us, the thing that really matters is the ability of women to build those LP relationships and fundraise from the biggest possible group of LPs that are out there. Reason being is Europe is very limited on the LP level. We don't have a well-developed market of funds. We don't have endowments. We have very little foundations. So building those kind of relationships is what really matters.
Thank you. And Gurpreet, you know, from Level 20 programs, what process reliably drives results?
So in respect of mentorship, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Firstly, can I just say it's been wonderful being here. So thank you for the invite, and it's been lovely catching up with some of you throughout the day. I was looking at your program design, and I can agree with so much of it. It takes a lot of effort and energy to organise something like this. We've been doing it for 10 years, so congratulations to you for setting it up. It takes a network, village, army. That's how Level 20 started. It started as a network nearly 10 years ago, and when the LPs and the GPs in the room were thinking about what they could do to support women, cross-industry, cross-firm mentoring kept coming up as an idea. And so that's the first point around the design, which is how do you effectively pair people across the industry? And we have a thorough application process with lots of detail around what the mentees are looking for. We also ask what the mentors are looking for. We'll come back to some of that in the questioning later. And then we spend almost as much time pairing mentees and mentors as we do running the application process itself. There we have committees in each of our chapters. Level 20 is a 7,000 strong network. If you're not already a member, please sign up. It's free. We're funded by the industry, and we have 13 chapters in 20 countries across Europe. So each of those chapters that have a mentoring program will have a specific mentoring committee, and they'll gather together all the applications to assess how you can best pair people. It's really important to ensure there aren't any conflicts. Because the last thing you want is a mentoring relationship to start up and then suddenly they're working on the same deal. So that in itself takes a bit of time to organise. You also need the right level of experience difference between the two. We run it as a programme that effectively mirrors the school year. So it needs to be a sufficiently long programme. Meetings are held every 6 to 8 weeks, organised by the mentee and the mentor. we, as an organization, will facilitate all of that and also do our own check-ins as well. So in case either the mentor or the mentee want to give us feedback confidentially, we'll check that. And then we do run events. Sometimes they're just for the mentoring cohorts. Sometimes it's just part of a bigger program of events. We have an extensive application process because to make this process effective, you need to ensure you've set goals. And that's the key thing. So every time you go into this relationship, what do you want to get out of it? Is it fundraising to learn more about how to build those LP connections, or is it about something more personal?
Right, and on that note, on the note of the expectations, may I invite everybody to vote one more time on what is your top expectations from Mentorship Plus program. Please scan the QR code and try to make your choices. And here, we have various options to choose from: career navigation to partner level, fundraising playbook and LP access, investment excellence from sourcing to post-investment. Then we have confidence and executive presence and networking and sponsorship. And let's give a few more seconds for the audience to make their choices. And we are going to comment quickly. I will ask both Kinga and Gurpreet to comment. So let's see what the first top two are. So for the moment, we have career, navigation to partner, and fundraising. So if I can just, ask Gurpreet maybe to comment on the career, navigation to partner, and Kinga to comment on fundraising very briefly.
Yeah, when I look at the data we gather, career planning comes in the top 3 of mentee goals at the junior level and at the mid-level. And that's really important because this is a long-term industry. You start, some people will start careers in a different place, whether it's consultancy or investment banking, and then once you start working in a VC and private equity firm, there your career journey can be not as structured as it might have been in a bigger organization. So just trying to understand what it takes to get to the next level in your organization and working with your mentor and the people that you work for to understand your career trajectory is really important. Sometimes there are factors outside of your control, which is coming on to our next point around the fundraising environment. But it is a long-term industry, so if that promotion doesn't happen this year, it will probably happen next year.
Lovely. And Kinga, if you can maybe comment on the fundraising.
Sure. To me, it's a little bit linked. Like, if you have great LP access and you are able to open doors to LPs, then your significance in the fund grows and naturally you progress. And of course, the final moment is, can you become a general partner? That's really the question. And how much do you need to bring to a firm to be treated on par with the existing general partners? So to me, it's a little bit like all connected, because that's the way to plan your career, at least in the venture space. It is all about finding those investors for those funds. It's of course other things as well, but a lot of it is linked. At least the final stages of career progression are very much linked to this ability. I think it's a little bit different perhaps for larger private equity firms. The dynamics are a little bit different, that they have more resources, more people, and people have more distinct roles in terms of what they do. So I'm sure Gurpreet can kind of comment on more on how that works. But to me, the skill of fundraising is really core to venture.
Wonderful. And that brings us to, can we have back the slides, please? Wonderful. And that, I want to now ask both Kinga and Gurpreet to share some of their inspirational stories. First, let me turn to Kinga. You founded European Women in VC with the time of raising capital for female managing partners was exceptionally difficult. As a matter of fact, there were not even data on how many female partners across venture capital there are. And and can you maybe share, your story and the role of the peer advocacy and sponsorship and unlocking that progress? What elements then, could be maybe replicated today?
Sure. So going back, there was an opportunity to set up a VC fund because there was one anchor investor, that was the Swiss government. And there was basically a tender process, we won it. We didn't think if we were women, men, or whatever, because we both came from investment banking backgrounds, so we really didn't care. When we won it and started trying to build a fund, there were no institutional LPs out there. So it was really sort of very amateurish. And I realized quite quickly that my portfolio companies need to get out of Poland. They need to have networks, they need to have follow-on capital, and it's not going to be in Central Europe. So that's how European Women in VC started, because I, for myself, needed a network of peers across Europe trying to understand their challenges, but also for my portfolio companies to have that next level of engagement. And so with that, we created the first meetup. I was on the board of the Polish VC Association for 5 years, so that was relatively easy. Basically contacted all the VC associations across Europe, and we were able to put that together quite smoothly. And the next thing is we did a couple of trips to different places to sort of gel the whole community together. Then COVID came. And that was another challenge. So we sort of switched focus to what it is now and professionalized the organization. And, for us, the support has been perhaps, first of all, in the fact that venture is both a competitive business, but a collaborative one, because people co-invest together. So, of course, they're competing for the best deals, but still, everyone has their own special value that they can bring to the table. So, when people know each other, when they network, which is one of the goals of this, they can co-invest. So I think that has been a big kind of spiritus movens, is that the different countries, the different GPs really wanted for their startups to have pan-European exposure, to work together with others, and to share the knowledge and the know-how. And I would say this is something that we definitely should keep developing, because we need to treat Europe as one continent, not as segregated little countries that just do their own thing in their little pools.
Wonderful. And Gurpreet, looking back, you started the first cohort of mentorship program 10 years ago. And, now these women are all in the senior position in private capital markets. So maybe you can share a little bit, what stands out with that and, any subsequent program, how these programs have successfully converted the mentees into the leaders of private capital markets, whether it's, what they did consistently compared to the others who maybe were as aspirant leaders but didn't make it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And just to echo what Kinga said, this is a collaborative yet competitive industry, and that's one of the reasons why I love working in it. And I think that's one of the reasons why our mentoring program has been successful. We, like you, started small. So we had 10 mentees in our first cohort. Some of them are now very senior in the industry, involved in level 20. So Emma Watford at Bridgepoint. You've got Imogen Richards at Pantheon as well. Some of you would have come across her too. So across the GP investing IR and LP investing IR spectrum. Over time that grew. We now have about 250 mentees go through the program each year. In aggregate, over 1,300 mentees have benefited from the program. So we built it up over time. We found that to make it effective, you also needed to ensure you brought in people at the right level. So we have a one-to-one program, which is essentially for people with more experience,
You need at least 5 years of experience here, mid-level upwards. For the more junior cohorts, we introduced group programs, so group mentoring programs, cohorts of 6 meeting regularly, and that's worked quite nicely as well. So just getting that level right. Now, in terms of those women who are now partners and MDs at the respective firms, they really valued having that external perspective. And that's what this program is going to bring you. Just having somebody outside your day-to-day, just remind you that you're doing a great job, that what you're experiencing is not unique to you. It can feel like that at times because, as Kinga said, often these firms are quite small. Even a lot of private equity firms are actually quite small organizations. So just having someone external sort of talk you through some of how they approached similar challenges can be so beneficial. Just having somebody external tell you you're doing a good job, give you inspiration to succeed. Also, just keep you motivated to discipline yourself to keep on top of things as well. So, we can all admit where we should have done certain things in a different way. So just having somebody external tell you that is really, really valuable. And I think that the benefit of the network keeps coming up. So the building networks, building relationships is crucial to success in this industry, not only with your investors, your LPs, also with your co-investors, the organizations you might be selling portfolio companies to, so other investors or corporates. But this is an investment-driven industry, so what's also super important are your relationships with your portfolio company management teams and your entrepreneurs as well. So just getting more experience and developing your broader network. Sometimes we don't appreciate that. We go into a room, we work really hard, and this can sometimes feel like a particularly female trait. I don't realize I do need to go out and have that drink. I do need to go to that event and have that coffee. And hands up, who always feels better having done it? The investment committee paper can wait. Those emails can wait. You always come back feeling inspired, like I will do tonight. And that really drives success. And also just through that relationship, you build up the technical skills as well. And one thing I'll just finish on, sorry, I should have started with this. Half our mentors have been men over the years. And when I moved into this role, it was those same senior men, and some of them are super senior, who came up to me and said they love the program, they love being involved. And I also just think that kind of reverse mentoring effect has really benefited and helped us. Out of all those mentees, 80% of them have been promoted at least once, and nearly 90% of them are still in the industry. So I think that kind of collaborative effort has really helped drive that success.
Wonderful. And with that, I want to turn to impact that we can all make in a very short term. Until December. So I would kindly ask, all the mentees to scan the QR code and answer the following question. Which short-term outcome would prove Mentorship Plus works by December? And we have the choices that include career goals defined with clear milestones, warm sponsor LP mapped and the first introduction secured, investment process upgrade, negotiation practice completed, and peer support circle established. And, let's see a little bit which ones prevail. And it seems to me that career goal defined with peer support is the prevailing one. So whatever your personal objective is, pick just one and commit to it, and we'll revisit it in the first masterclass. And I want to just, use the time and ask a very brief commentary on Kinga, and ask her, what is the one public ask you think every mentee should make to this group this week?
To public. Yeah, that's quite a tough one. I would say to make a public ask that is personal to you very direct and very clear. I would rather choose my own goal and try to present it clearly than point everybody in the same direction. I think it's very unique, your path and the place you're at now. And therefore, I think what it needs is, first of all, clarity and then directness.
Right, and Gurpreet, if each mentee committed to one action per month and track the progress, what kind of actions would you recommend to build this real momentum?
I think just setting aside time to think about it, and maybe do it on a Monday or a Tuesday, not a Friday when you're tired. I think that's what I've often found. Sometimes I'll jump from thing to thing and I'll do it very well. But before your mentoring catch-up, just spend some time revisiting what you discussed last time. After each catch-up, spend some time thinking through what you've discussed and what you're going to do differently. In terms of specific goals, think about events and calls and conversations that you want to have. Document those relationships so you can keep track of it. Block time out of your diary, all of that type of stuff. Just keeping that momentum going. It's often on the mentee, sometimes I think more than the mentor. So I know people get busy, mentors are very busy people, and they do try their best. So I often think if mentees don't hear back, just call them again, get through to their EAs, get these things scheduled. If they need to be rescheduled, don't be offended by that. So just gently through all these little steps, keep that momentum going.
Wonderful. And then I want to just, said we think there are certain 3 quick truths to make this program work for everybody. I will read them out loud, and then I will ask Kinga and Gurpreet to comment on them. So the first one is healthy boundaries. Mentoring, what it is all about, it's not consulting, it's not a job placement, it's focused on decision, behaviors and tools that can be applied. And I want to ask a question to Gurpreet, how do you keep mentoring focused on goals and not drift into general career advice?
I think that the first point is actually really important. You should never treat mentoring relationships or any kind of cross-industry relationship as a recruitment process. That's when the thing breaks down. So being very focused on business goals, not thinking about your next move, the here and now, I think is really important.
Then we also suggest having a productive cadence and to share the agenda 48 hours in advance, to use a 30 split. So usually you will have 1 hour per month with your mentor, and maybe use 3 minutes to check in and blockers, and 30 minutes to practice something, to close with 1 action and 1 resource. And I want to ask, Kinga, what are your best tips to keep this relationship productive and the rhythm alive when the schedules get really busy?
Yeah, I think it was one of the points that was said earlier, that don't get offended, get it booked, everybody's busy. And then remember, how does it feel to sit on the other side? That other person is giving up his or her free time, the time that they have for their own career, maybe, or the time that they have for their own kids, to you. So be respectful of that time and be very clear what you want. I think clarity and none of this kind of waffling around is what really makes it the difference. If it's not an hour, that's fine. It's better to get something done in 10 minutes rather than sit for an hour and not get anything done. So I think, being prepared, saying what you want concretely, what are your questions? Being prepared is the key thing. And it's not a question of time, it's what you're going to get out of it, respecting both parties.
Okay, and the third truth that we want to say is, confidentiality and equity lens. If you want to just maybe comment briefly, what is a simple way to share lessons while protecting confidentiality, and how to bring on an equity lens in those conversations?
Yeah, I think it's one of the points you mentioned. It's a small industry, it's a small world. If you want to share, I'm sure that nobody wants to share that further. They want to just keep it in one-to-one conversations. So basically, all personal kind of issues become difficult, and sharing them further is not really an ethical way to approach this relationship. So I think, sharing the same values and thinking about the respect for the two sides is really key to having a healthy mentoring relationship.
Thank you. And we don't have too much time, but I want to invite the audience for a quick up to 2 questions. If you have a question, please, if you can raise your hand, introduce yourself, and we will ask also Carmen and Minerva to participate in providing the answers. If I can have a mic down here, and then a show of if somebody can raise a hand. Up there, right? Wonderful.
Thank you very much. Thank you to this wonderful panel. And actually, I have a questions for Kinga. I'm Silvia from the IAF Kinga, so we know each other very well. What would be your advice to a young person who is approaching in the field and has to face sometimes also failures or doors that are not opening? Like, how do you keep going? How do you become resilient and you don't lose the spark?
Well, I think, first of all, everyone fails all the time. You just never see that. You only see the 1% success chance. You don't see the 99% attempts that have failed. I mean, just think about a child learning to walk. They fall all the time, and then they do learn in the end. So, and they're resilient. So if you all go back to seeing yourself as you were little and learning all those different qualities that you have today, and keeping that spirit of wanting to be determined to learn them, I think, it's all about the determination. I think we're all in this super competitive world, and everyone's attention span is super short, and people don't have time for anything anymore. And so, as you're thinking about this, think about the other person on the other side. They're also maybe having a bad day, just like you are. It's okay. It's really okay. Just keep going. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset. I think it happens to everyone. You get frustration. Something doesn't work. This is normal. I think we should treat that as the norm, and then success as the one time where we're really succeeding, and then we pat each other on the back and, I don't know, buy yourself a Snickers bar to make you feel good. But, I think the norm is the 99 tries that get us to the one success. So just think about it that way. It's a process. You need to go through it, and that's it. It might be not nice. It might not be tough. But hey, I mean, you want to get to your goal, right?
Can I just say resilience and adaptability is such a big topic at the moment. People are really feeling it, and we're running an online session on that with one of our coaches next month, because it's one where we've also had a lot of interest, so tune in for that.
Wonderful. Time for one more question. If I can have a mic over here. There is a lady in the second row, please. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Daniela Elias. I will not stand up, not to hinder the people behind. I'm part of the mentee team. I'm coming from Romania. It's more, I think, of sharing an expectation than actually raising a question. I believe that the cohort of mentors on one hand and the cohort of mentees is fantastic. And first of all, indeed, the relationship which will be built up, mentor-mentee, will be the core value that we take out of this program. But I also believe that it would be very helpful to have the chance to build up relationships, as Gurpreet mentioned, to build up the relationships and connections with both with some other mentees than the one assigned, and with the other, mentors than the one directly assigned, and the other mentees to share again experience, knowledge, and because this power of network and relationship is great.
Just to comment on that, you're totally right. And in fact, this is a little bit also what we intend to achieve. So besides promoting these mentoring partnerships or one-to-ones, we have designed this as a cohort because we want to build this community even farther and stronger. And besides, I would even say the cohort per se, we also want to join forces with other communities like Level 20, like European Women in VC. And throughout the journey that you will be learning more soon, of course, you will be able to have this opportunity. I totally agree that that networking that was also there, that has been mentioned, is one of the most powerful tools that we can do. And another somehow element that we would like to bring in is that, well, you're going to meet each other now after the session today, more in the networking drinks, but you'll see the cohort is very diverse in terms of geographic as well. So there are people from across the EU, and I think the EIF is very well positioned as well to kind of bring this pan-European, flavor to the program. So we're aligned there.
And just to add, I mean, beyond the master classes that you're going to be attending and the one-to-ones and so on and so forth, there is a reason why today we also brought the LPs around the table, right? We, for the first time in the story of Empowering Equity, we had 30 LPs, and I think that this is a very also interesting opportunity for GPs like you to go and approach them, to get connected, and maybe, who knows, in a few months they're going to be the first investors in your fund, right? So, hopefully next year we will be here again together. Let's see.
Wonderful. Time for one more very brief question.
Well, it's not a question. I'm Eleni. I'm a founding partner of Halcyon Equity Partners. I come from Greece. EIF has been my anchor investor in 2 funds, in this one and the previous one that was, again, a partner. I just need to bring a little bit of, I'm actually in the mentors team since the inception of this program, alongside here my friend, and we have been providing feedback, and we have seen a number of candidates and people who have been interested. I will just need to bring something, a more grounding comment here, that networking is amazing, mentorship is amazing, but at the end of the day, and I say that being on the buy side for more than 12 years now, you have so much time to spend with your investees, with your investors, with fundraising, with planning your strategy, that you need to allocate appropriate time on these factors as well. So networking is really important, sharing your experience as well, but you need to keep it very efficient, very targeted, and you need to have specific, as a mentee, you need to have very specific targets that you need to reach. I think LP access is really important, but mentors cannot really make introduction calls. They can say what is the process of fundraising, they can say what are the key elements when you create a book for your fundraising, but it's not the role of really picking up the phone and saying, okay, why don't you? Obviously, if there is any potential way to help, of course, but this should not be the objective. And again, one comment on the investment, on the answers that you proposed with regards to the investment process. Again, the mentor will not share memos. This is not the role. The mentor should say what are the best practices, what are the key policies, what key investors like the EIF, like EBRD are looking for good practices. So mentees should, and anyone who is trying right now to raise a fund or become a partner, should focus on the journey. It's a nice journey. You don't have to rush, because what we have seen and experienced during the first program was that there were people very young at some point who were very eager to become partners at the age of 25. It took us a lot of years to get here, and the journey is amazing, and there are so many things to learn. So enjoy even this part of the journey.
Thank you so much for your valuable comment. Unfortunately, we need to move on because we have a clear stop in this room. If I can just have I can just very quickly say what are the next steps in the Mentorship Plus program. So right after today, we'll finalize the mentor-mentee matches. And we will let you know very soon after this session. And we will ask to schedule the first call with your mentor, possibly later this month. Please use the agenda and 48-hour rules every time you do it, and close every session with one action and one resource. The master classes will also commence very shortly. We'll announce the 6 master classes which will take place between November and June. And the program asks for you for about 1 day commitment per month and will last until June. So once again, very warm welcome. We will continue our Q&A session over the drinks. But I want to just use this opportunity to thank the exceptional ladies, Gurpreet, Kinga, Minerva, and Carmen, for your presence and for being with us and for sharing your experiences and for supporting women in private capital markets. Thank you so much.